I love to read books. I have many beautiful books in my home, but I do not have the time and the energy to read all of them. I ask God to give me the strength to read these books. The more I read, the more I know. The more I know, the more I understand. The more I understand, the more complicated the picture becomes. It is good to be simplistic. It is good to be simple in one's approach to God. Jesus himself prescribed the approach that a little child would have. Unless you become like a little child, you will not enter the kingdom of God. I remember those words. So, shall I get rid of this addiction to books? I'm not so sure. I picked up this book yesterday. It is easily one of the best books I have ever read. I'd like to read a portion from this book. Some of these sentences are so brilliant, and I suppose the portion that I read will illustrate this impression. The peace we seek seems always just beyond our grasp. The companionship we crave is never able to completely pierce the heart of our profound loneliness. We live in hope that sooner or later we will run into someone who completely understands us and gives us the support we need. A girlfriend or boyfriend, perhaps, or a future spouse and child. It may be a teacher or pastor, or our best friend. Yet it never turns out quite as we had hoped. We may have a good number of close friends, a very understanding husband or wife, and several loving children, but we soon learn that none of them completely understands us, and that they will most often let us down at those very moments when we need them most. Terrific lines. The Archbishop of Canterbury, Rowan Williams, recommends this book highly. Let me read his recommendation. I read this book with a rather breathless enthusiasm, carried along by its absolute clarity, its energy and wit, its intellectual and imaginative zest. It is quite simply one of the best brief introductions to the essentials of classical Christian faith I have encountered in years. It has spiritual depth without any sentimentality, rigor without dryness. Buy several copies and give them away as indiscriminately as you can to friends, old and young, who wants to know why they should bother with the gospel. What's an endorsement from the Archbishop of Canterbury? This is a great book. I also read books of this kind. The question to be asked after reading a few pages of this book is this: It is indeed the God delusion. But who is the one who is deluded? Is it the person who wrote this book, or is it the people that he writes about? That question has a clear answer as far as I'm concerned. I love to read all kinds of books, but I love to read most the books that help me grow in my faith, that help me overcome my doubts, because there is doubt in faith, and my faith has doubt, and I appreciate any help that I can get from other people. I love to read books.